then there's Harry here, and then Bu Amanda, and then Pak Undri. So before we start the session, to hear some words from Pak Undri. Silakan Pak Undri, waktu dan tempat kami persilakan.
Terima kasih Pak Robi. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera buat kita semua. Mohon maaf, saya harus berbahasa Indonesia sebagai bagian promosi bahasa Indonesia ke kancah global. Sorry. Yang sama-sama kita hormati Yayasan Mudra Swari Saraswati dalam rangka Ubud Food Festival, Pak Robi, Bu Amanda, Bu Mel, kemudian Chef Ari Manggat. Kami dari Direktorat Promosi Kebudayaan Kementerian Kebudayaan Republik Indonesia mengucapkan apresiasi sekali tentang penyelenggaraan kegiatan ini.
So we are from the Directorate of Promotion and Promotion of the Cultures from the Culture Ministry. Give a high appreciation to this event.
Kita tahu dalam Undang-Undang Dasar Republik Indonesia telah mengamanatkan bagaimana negara memajukan kebudayaan nasional sebagai landasan kita untuk pemajuan kebudayaan.
So I stated in our constitution that the country has a state has a mandatory to put forward the progress and the development of the cultures. It's a mandatory for the state to do that.
Di samping itu, dalam Undang-Undang Nomor 5 Tahun 2017 tentang Pemajuan Kebudayaan, bagaimana mengakomodir semua objek pemajuan kebudayaan, termasuk makanan, sebagai salah satu perihal terpenting dalam kehidupan manusia.
It's stated in our law that all about cultures and about food is one thing that important as a state, and then we put forward in the progress for the progress.
Direktorat Promosi Kebudayaan Kementerian Kebudayaan mendorong bagaimana ekosistem kemudian perihal gastronomi itu bisa kita perkenalkan, tradisi-tradisi pangan-pangan lokal itu menjadi perihal penting untuk diperkenalkan ke mancanegara.
So our directorate have a mission to push forward and to promote our local food to the global stage.
Kearifan lokal kita banyak sekali yang tumbuh dan kembang dalam persoalan pangan lokal. Dia menjawab tantangan kita terhadap persoalan pembangunan menjadi solusi untuk masa yang akan datang.
Okay, so our local wisdom have a lot of solution to our future in terms of food and in terms of our cultures.
Seperti banyak pangan-pangan lokal kita kemudian menjadi solusi dalam kehidupan. Contoh saja seperti jamu, kemudian tempe, kemudian ada beberapa daerah yang punya kearifan lokal untuk pengetahuan dan juga kesehatan.
So there's a lot of our local wisdom that are truly a solution for the future. As instance, tempe and jamu then really have a true solution for our life.
Untuk itu, Kementerian Kebudayaan di bawah Direktorat Promosi Kebudayaan pada saat sekarang ini itu melakukan promosi dalam bidang gastronomi sebagai perihal terpenting dalam mempromosikan kearifan lokal, pangan-pangan lokal kita ke kancah global.
So that's why now our directorate put the gastronomy as one of the most important thing that we need push forward in the global stage.
Dan juga Kementerian Kebudayaan akan menggagas menulis buku tentang pangan-pangan lokal dan juga mengundang para penulis-penulis yang ada di tingkat global untuk menulis kearifan-kearifan lokal, pangan-pangan lokal kita untuk diperkenalkan di tingkat internasional.
So the Culture Ministry will push forward the writings of a lot of local food and local wisdom around food, and then we invite all the writers from around the world to write more about Indonesian local wisdom and more about Indonesian local food.
Terakhir, kami menyambut baik apa yang digagas, kemudian penulisan buku ini menjadi perihal terpenting dalam literasi pangan-pangan lokal kita untuk diperkenalkan ke kancah internasional.
And at last, we grateful for this book because this book considered as one of the how we could promote our local food to the global stage.
Kedepannya, mari kita bergandengan tangan, baik itu komunitas, pangan, perguruan tinggi, penulis, peneliti, pemerintah, bagaimana gastronomi yang ada di daerah kita ini itu bisa kita perkenalkan dan kita promosikan ke tingkat internasional.
And now we ask everyone to collaborate more to go together to the communities, universities, and then and other stakeholders to push forward our local food, our gastronomies in the global stage and also in the national stage.
Kedepannya, mari kita bergandengan tangan semua pihak untuk memperkenalkan gastronomi pangan lokal ini ke tingkat internasional.
Okay, and in the future, let's work together to push forward our local food to the global stage as well.
Itu saja. Terima kasih. Mudah-mudahan apa yang kita kerjakan pada hari ini bisa bermanfaat dalam pemajuan kebudayaan.
Thank you very much. So hopefully all that we are doing today will be something will have like very useful for the development of our cultures in Indonesia and as well in the global stage.
Terima kasih. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera buat kita semua.
Waalaikumsalam. Okay, thank you, Pak Undri, from the Culture Ministry. So we are really looking forward for the collaboration to writing all the food stage in the Nusantara, in Southeast Asia, and in the global stage. So we are really looking forward to that, Pak. So there's a lot of food writers here. So now we are going to talk about lunch tradition in Indonesia and dishes and display. So I heard that Ibu Amanda just write a book that compiled more than 40 food bloggers book, and then it all write about the lunch traditions in Indonesia. So Bu Amanda, the time is yours, and then one thing for sure I want to know more that why lunch?
Why the book and why lunch?
Why lunch?
Thank you everybody for coming. I'm Amanda Katili Niode, the chair of Omar Niode Foundation. We work to promote Indonesian local food, agriculture, and culinary arts, as well as culture. And we also do lots of public events. We publish books. And I've been attending Ubud Food Festival since its beginning. But I would like to let you in a little secret. I'm not a good cook.
No.
I eat a lot. I eat a lot, and I have lots of food enthusiasts as friends. So 10 years ago, I was invited by Ken Albala. He is a professor of food history in California, and he collected articles from around the world on, the title is At the Table. He asked all of us to write, how is dinner in your area, in your country? Who prepared the food? What are food items on the table? What's the surrounding? What's the decoration? What's the conversation in the table? And what is the menu, and as well as the recipes? And I asked Ken, why those information? And he said, well, 20 years from now, it wouldn't be like that anymore. We will lose all the information. So that was 10 years ago. And I kept thinking about it, and his was dinner at the table. So I said, well, why not lunch in Indonesia? We're a big archipelago. We have lots of traditions. And then recently, those of you who live in Indonesia, you heard about the Makan Siang Gratis, the free lunch, free meals. It's really a controversy in the country for some time. So I said, well, a lunch is not only a controversy. There are so many stories surrounding lunch. everywhere in Indonesia, either you are in the rice fields, at home, at school, at the office. So I work together, or the Omar Niode Foundation worked together with Yayasan Nusa Gastronomi Indonesia with Ibu May as the executive director. And we also work with food bloggers community in Indonesia. So we collected articles. There were about 40 articles from 18 provinces in Indonesia. And we started as a competition, as a writing competition. But all the articles are so good, so we decided to put everything in the book. And it's bilingual. It's bilingual, so it's like 500 pages altogether. But they're very interesting. So Ibu May started with the prologue because she will tell her experience that she traveled around Indonesia for 2 years documenting Indonesian food. And the epilogue was by a coordinator of the food blogger. And I also would like to thank our independent publisher. Can you stand up, Pak Dio? He is from Dio Media Publishing, an independent publisher. Why an independent publisher? Because if you go to a big publisher, you have to print like 3,000 books, and then you have to buy 1,500 books for yourselves, and then we don't know whether it will sell or not. But with Dio Media, he said, well, it's up to you. Do you want just 1 copy, 10 copy, 100 copies? So that's what I'm looking for, and I thank Dio for that. He also helped with the editing, the layouting, and finding the ISBN number. So that story, and there's so many stories in the book, and it's really touching. There's a mother who prepared lunch for her children in 2 boxes. And then there are stories about, before people go harvesting, they will have ceremonies and they will prepare some food and everything. So there are actually many stories from all over Indonesia. Well, actually from the western part of Indonesia to the eastern part of Indonesia.
Can you share like maybe 1 or 2 that you mostly take as like, oh, this is the one thing that I never heard of in those stories?
Lots of communal dining. Ibu May could explain about communal dining, all kinds of food, and many people get together and have stories. The food there's some similarity in the food from area to area. Of course, there is rice, most of the time, fish, soups, but there are different habits, either in communal dining or in family dining.
Okay. Okay, now we move to Mbak May first. Mbak May, so you are the one that you are the one that wrote the foreword for this book, right? And
yes. Okay.
Before we talk about the book, I want to know more that because you travel a lot across the archipelago, what is the lunch look like? Just 3 types of lunch from the western part, the central part, and the eastern part. Are there any differences, or there's other one thing that you can put significant thing to the lunch for Indonesians?
I would separate into 2,
Okay.
which is rural and city.
Okay.
Because the rural people, people who lives in the rural area, they are so blessed with the lunch that actually still done traditionally. I think there are many stories inside this book, which is traditional. It's very family lunch. Compared to, and it's communal with family, but compared to people who lives in cities, who are, sometimes they eat alone, or of course they don't cook, they order from apps, for example. So I think that those 2 really separate of what's happening in Indonesian culture, especially lunch. So in terms of east or central or west, basically, right, like Ibu Amanda said, lunch is very family event, and people are still they went to the farm in the morning, came back with vegetables, fresh ingredients. They cook it and then they eat together with the family. Or they bring some food because they will stay in the kebun, in the farm all day. So they eat with the husband and wives or sometimes children. So they are still doing whatever traditional way in running in hundreds of years. So they are blessed, but they don't know they are blessed. That's the funny thing.
Yeah,
they don't know they are
time.
blessed. But I can see both, and I can see how blessing they are and how sad I am because we are living in cities.
cities.
Yeah, so it's very lonely lunch in cities.
Can you share like one or two dish that particularly you find mostly, one or two dish that you find interesting
Okay.
in across Indonesia?
Across Indonesia. Oh,
Lunch dish,
oh my
lunch
God,
dish.
one or two?
Yeah, of course. We couldn't. You couldn't share like 25 dish here.
Yeah, that's difficult. Basically, there are meals that is prepared at home, but there are meals prepared for when you go to the farm and then you eat outside. So I think what's interests me is those food which is in rantang or in. Yes, yeah. So it's I don't know. I just love it. Yeah.
Where you find that? By? Is it in?
It's in Kalimantan and also still in Sumatra, certain area. People in Papua, they don't have rantang culture, so basically they hunt and then they go back and then they cook. So it's different. But I
Even for
just
the
love the
lunchtime?
rantang. I love
Even for the lunchtime.
yeah, sometimes they bring food or bread to the forest because they don't farm. They just gather food from the forest, and then they bring back. They eat some of the meals prepared from home, and then they go back in the afternoon, and then they prepare the meal for the next day. So the next day they don't have to go to the forest. So it's like a meal preparation is not, of course, it's not as easy in like us in Jakarta who we can just open our apps and then get our food. The food came to ourselves, but in regions they enjoy the process of preparing the food. Is the basically is the culture itself of gathering with your mom, grandmas together. So it's a social event.
Like
Yes.
Okay, so anyone here don't know what rantang is? Everyone know what rantang is? You know what rantang is? No, you don't know, right? Okay. So, because we are talking about rantang, so I want to know more about what kind of lunch that you have in India, actually, Hari. Are there any kind of rantang? Rantang is something that it's like a tin, like a stack.
So we call it tiffin.
Oh, you call it tiffin. So,
Yeah,
okay,
so
can you
it's
share
a,
more about how is the lunch and then rantang in India?
So usually there would be always like 3 or 4 layers. And
Okay,
then,
yeah. Okay.
So there would be usually, people don't really refrigerate things when you take tiffin to work. So it'll be, when
Put it
my
closer.
dad,
Your mic closer.
so when my dad used to take rantang, tiffin to work, he would have like one used to be roti, or like traditional, like a not roti, like not roti chennai style. We call that like a parantha in India. But a roti is just like wholemeal flatbread. And then he would have, usually they always dry because wet ingredients don't stay longer in room temperature. So it would be always something dry, like a vegetable, like a stir fry, almost like a vegetable stir fry. So we call it sabji. So there'd be a carrot sabji or anything that's in season. So that what my dad used to take to work, like maybe 3 or 4 times a week, and then rest of the 3 days or 4 days he would eat with his business partners, or we go and have some street food. So it's always kind of changed. But like usually where I come from, which is Punjab North, we would there's chole bhature, which is like a puffed fried bread with chickpeas, spiced chickpeas. That's on the side of the streets. He would just go from the office, or even growing up, like when I was in school, we'd finish school and some friends will just go out, have some samosas for quick lunch. So it kind of changed on the day, and then slowly, I think when I was maybe 15-year-old, that's when the first McDonald's opened in our town. Okay. So that's when we started going like, wow, less, spending our pocket money. So it changed on the day. There was places that they would do like burgers on street food, so we just have that. So it kind of just changed over the years. Like food started getting more like the way you were saying in cities is like really quick. Now you have app. But now I've been living in Australia for 18 years, so haven't really seen that much change because I've just been in Australia. But most of my friends have moved away as well. But I only remember those teenager years in India, and I still have that memory. And when I go back with my friends, we always try to go to that spot and have a fried fish or something. So yeah.
Okay, since we're talking about Indonesia, do you have any particular dish that you like for lunch in Indonesia?
In Indonesia?
In Indonesia.
Oh man, this is so like it's so hard. Like nasi. Like you know what? I don't know what this dish is. I forgot.
Okay.
I had it.
Tumpang.
Yeah, I
Like
had
a
it in
small tumpang.
Solo.
Yeah, you
at,
had that.
so it
that's
was
in
like
Solo.
a rice,
Rice,
like,
yeah.
like a mountain.
Yep.
And then we drove to Yogyakarta one day from Solo, 3.5 hours or 3 hours, don't remember, just to have satay at this one place.
Okay.
We spent half an hour, we ate our satay, and we drove back.
Okay.
So I was like, they're like, no, we're gonna take you to this place, you love it. I'm like, all right, cool. We drove 3 hours and we ate for half an hour and we drove back. We did nothing else. So,
Okay.
and I think that was one of the best, like satays I had. And I don't really remember. It was like first time when I came to Solo. That was then.
The thing that you like the most in Indonesia.
Oh yeah, that was a really good satay. Yeah.
Okay.
And
Where is it? Is it the sate klatak or?
I don't know. Like I just don't remember. It's just.
Do you remember the shape?
Like
The
it's
shape
like,
of sate?
and
Big or
Indo
small?
satays are really small.
Very small. Okay.
Like very less meat on it. But I ate like I think 20 of them. So it was just
20 of them. Di mana ya?
Yeah.
Ada tahu nggak?
oh
What is it? A chicken or goat?
chicken, yeah, chicken. And this is there
Where is
another
it?
satay called satay buntul?
Yeah, sate
Yeah.
buntal. Oh yeah, Solo.
And, yeah,
That's
and
from
then
Solo.
Solo, and we ate that one as well. We went to this special place, and those were amazing. Oh, Indo food is so good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So actually I want to ask more to Pak Unri, Pak. Because you're here, Pak. Karena Bapak di sini saya mau tanya, makanan siang yang Bapak paling suka tuh apa, Pak? Spesifiknya apa? Kalau nasi padang lauknya apa?
Nasi Padang,
Lauknya apa? Nasi padang di mana lauknya apa?
chicken,
Ayam apa? Ayam gulai, ayam goreng? Apa? Ayam apanya, Pak?
chicken, ayam gulai, rendang. Ya, betul.
Pakai daun singkong, Pak? Enggak, oke. Oh, jadi cuma nasi ayam rendang. Oke. Double protein. Oke. So, Pak Undri like gulai, chicken gulai, and then the rendang with rice. That's it for the lunch. Okay, we move to Bu Amanda again. We have a lot of time. We still have a lot of time. We still have like 30 minutes more. 30 minutes, right? We still have 30 minutes? Okay. So, Bu Amanda. So, actually, you've been published a lot of books, right, Bu? This is your...
I don't know. I've contributed, I've edited, and I've published solo book, maybe about 20 altogether.
20, okay. This is the 20th, your 20th book. And then, or
Maybe
more.
25th.
Maybe 25th book, okay. 20 or 30, okay. So now in this book, what is you think that, oh, this is the thing that I really want to write down, and then this is gonna be something that I won't put to the market, to the public.
Before this book, we published what we call comfort food memoirs, so the stories and recipes, and then after that, this lunch traditions. And there are commonalities between the two books, very emotional. The writers express their feelings, remembering their grandmother, their mother, their father, their cousins, their sisters. So that's one. And one even reminisce how her grandma feed her from the grandma's hands, you know. There are things like that. And all the contributors complained, Ibu, you made me cry. But that shows that food is really an emotional attachment. That's one thing. And another thing is, since I work in environment, climate change, and sustainability area, local foods help reduce emission, help address climate change. So that's what I see from the books. And I think there should be more books because the stories are just not enough. For example, I asked the contributors to talk about lunch. Then one or two will write, like I mentioned earlier, communal dining. And then several even write about food travels that they did in some areas. So you can see this food, it tastes good, you know, and the recipes. Some have recipes and some don't have recipes in this book. But Chef Ragil prefers those with recipes in the book. So Chef Ragil is one of our judge in the writing competition. But since like I said earlier, since all the articles are good, we put everything on the book.
Okay, Bame. So you've read all the recipes and all the writings in those books, right?
Yes,
In
so
that book.
basically because there are so many came, so I was the first person who actually curate that
Okay.
and then gave it to Chef Ragil and Ibu Amanda. It's like I choose 20 out of 40 something, right? And then this 20, that include the sad story, of course, because I'm emotional, because I'm easily touched. So I pick up some of the recipes that has a nice, touching story.
So which one that touched you the most?
I forgot that. There's a lot, yeah. So basically, I think the one that she was fed lunch by the grandma
Yeah.
using hands, yeah, like.
And one
Very,
of the
yeah.
writers is here, Win.
Oh, really?
She wrote beautifully.
Okay.
Can you ask her what she
Yeah,
wrote?
of course. So, Mbak, Kak, namanya siapa? Win dari mana, Kak Win? Oh, dari Makassar. Mbak Win Kak Win bisa ceritakan nggak apa yang ditulis?
Oke. Sebenarnya saya di fotografer di sini jadi.
Wah, jadi nggak apa-apa dong. Mumpung
Namanya.
ada. So, Mbak Win is one of the writers in the book, so she will share about what you wrote in the book.
Oke, bahasa Indonesia.
Bahasa
ya.
Indonesia, silahkan.
Di buku ini saya menceritakan tentang tradisi makan siang saya, yaitu saat saya pulang sekolah dulu.
Okay. So in this book, I wrote about my lunch tradition when I go back from school back then.
Setiap saya pulang ke sekolah, ibu saya menyediakan yang namanya palumara.
Okay. Every time I get back from home from school, my mom always cook palu mara.
Palumara is fish soup.
It's a fish, yellow fish soup.
Yes.
Yellow fish soup.
Yellow fish soup. Jadi yang membuat saya teringat karena kita pulang sekolah itu capek, merasa lelah. Kemudian malas makan ikan.
Okay.
Apalagi.
So the one thing that I remember the most is because every time I go back from school, I was so tired and then I really don't want to eat fish. So for context, there's so many fish in Indonesia, and then sometimes Indonesian, we really hate the fish because it's like our everyday meal. Okay.
Apalagi ikan masak.
Apalagi ikan yang udah matang. Okay, mostly the cooked fish. So you like the raw fish? Yeah? Okay.
Saya sebenarnya suka ikan goreng.
Okay, so actually I like the fried fish.
Yes. Tapi setelah pertama kali saya disuapkan oleh ibu saya, coba dulu. Sebenarnya disuapkan, di situ saya langsung kayak, wah, ternyata enak.
So every time my mom put the spoon in my mouth and then, with hand, not with
With
spoon.
hand.
Oh, with hand. So each time my mom put the fish in my mouth,
Yes.
so it always like, oh my God, it was really good.
Yes, it's delicious.
It's delicious.
Yes. But, langsung saya, oh, ternyata selama ini saya salah, terlalu harus ikan goreng dan sebagainya. Ternyata ikan masak itu apalagi disajikan sebenarnya sederhana sekali. It's so simple. Hanya bawang merah, kemudian asam dan kunyit.
Okay, so actually, when I realized that actually cooked fish is also delicious, it's actually a very simple dish because it's only cooked with shallots,
Shallot,
tamarind, and then turmeric, and then
Yes.
turmeric. Okay.
Tapi cara ibu saya menyajikan itu yang bikin saya kayak, wow, setiap saya pulang sekolah saya kayak harusnya ingat ibu saya. Gitu.
Okay, so but how my mom present it make me always remember it. How actually your mom present it? Gimana di ibu kasih kayak gimana?
Ya cuman taruh di atas meja, kemudian ada nasi, kemudian palu maranya. Cuman itu 2.
Okay, so actually it's very simple dish that my mom cooks. It's only like a fish and then a rice and then
Dan green caviar.
green caviar. Okay.
Apa ya bahasa
Bahasa Sulawesi-nya apa?
bahasa Sulawesinya saya sampai lupa.
Apa?
Bukan.
Bukan.
Saya tulis.
Apa
Kenapa
itu,
saya
Kak?
lupa?
Itu telur ikan kah atau apa?
Bukan. Jadi dia kayak rumput laut gitu.
Oh, okay, so
Apa ya?
grape,
Yeah, grape,
sea grape.
Yes,
Okay.
sea grape.
And then a sea grape.
Jadi dulu saya pikir itu ya makanan biasa saja. Ternyata pas saya dewasa menjadi food photographer itu makanan mahal.
Mahal, yeah. So back then, because there's a lot of sea grapes in my hometown, I thought it was like a cheap food, and then I don't like it. But now when I became a food photographer, I just realized that it's very, very expensive. It's actually there downstairs, man. You could buy it there. Okay.
Jadi pas saat ditanya kembali saat saya menjadi dewasa dan menjadi food photographer, sudah keliling beberapa kafe, restoran dan sebagainya, selalu ditanya, apa makanan favorit kamu? Dan jawaban saya selalu sama, makanan palu mara yang disuapkan ibu saya.
Okay. So when I become a food photographer and then I go to a lot of restaurants, a lot of places, eat a lot of things. When people ask me about what is the most memorable food that I eat, so I always say that it's the palu mara, the yellow fish soups, and then the sea grape that my mom cooked back then. And then fed by her mom. Okay. Terima kasih, Kak. Okay, so everyone, actually there's a snack and drinks behind you, so everyone who want to take it, just please grab it. Don't wait for us to finish the
It's
session.
not palu mara.
But unfortunately, it's not palu mara. Okay?
And we're not gonna fed you with our hand. Sorry.
Oh. Okay, we have 24 minutes left. Now we move to the Q&A session. We could go like to 2 first. Any question? Okay. Name, and then could you share where you're from, and then please one question.
Hello, my name is Paulus. I'm Indonesian, but I
Okay.
live in New Zealand for the
Okay.
past 14 years. I came back to Indonesia, to Jakarta, to see my family for 2 weeks, and then I come to Ubud to join the festival. But I think the main thing that I find for Indonesia, and that's a part of my question as well, if you want to eat really nice Indonesian food with great ingredients, proper execution, great chefs, places with like August, Esa, Locafor, Mosaic, for example, it costs a lot of money, and people that works in Indonesia and doesn't have a lot of disposable income to spend for food, they ended up spending it through Grab and stuff. What is the solution around this? Because we all are here to promote the Indonesian food, but the one that are really good, really nice, from my perspective, maybe you guys have different perspective, are uh, in a way, unreachable for most people. For me, because I bring my family with me, and when we were deciding where to go to experience the true Indonesian food, we only can decide one place, even though I want to try everything. And we decided to go to Locafor, which I'm very excited about. We're going there on Monday, but we miss August, we miss Esa, we miss Mata Keranjang, for example. And from what I've heard, they all serve really amazing food, but unfortunately, we can't go to all of them. And I see that as a problem for me and for the people that live in Indonesia, because it's unreachable.
Okay, to who you want to ask the question?
Maybe Bume?
Bume, okay.
Yeah.
Please, Bume.
Okay. I might answer a bit further than from your question, if I may. I may. Okay. Actually, I'm not. I would say those apps also include great food, traditional food, which is you can like order a lot at home or hotel if your family is there. So you can try many traditional satay because all the traditional local sellers actually now already included in the apps, which is good. But so you can, for example, for those people who miss Indonesian food, like you have only 3 days, you can order like 100 food in one day through the apps. It's possible, of course, even though your stomach might not be possible to take all of it, but you can. If you miss Batagor, if you miss the best satay, there is, which is the good thing about the apps. The bad thing about the apps is there has been a research from Kota Kita. Kota Kita is a non-profit organization about urban living. They've done some research in Jakarta, and they found something very interesting. The diversity of food of people in Jakarta, it has been changed. Why? Because there's something called algorithm. So that algorithm will show you on the first page to order ayam penyet.
Chicken.
Yeah, ayam
Chicken.
penyet, mie ayam,
Ayam geprek.
and all the famous brand on top. And that is an issue. Why? Because we are losing the culture, or the people, especially in cities, who order lunch from apps. They are losing the diversity of their meal because of the algorithm of the apps. Of course, there are people who pay. Of course, big brand, they will put a sponsor or advertisement, so they pay more to be on top of the choice. But that really actually causes issues. You can order some legend. For example, you can check on the Googles and then see what's the traditional or legend food in that city, and then you can try to find it in the apps. It takes an effort. But if you really want to sort of like engaging through that great satay or whatever, you can do that in short time. But it takes an effort because the apps won't show you. There is a big issue that actually people doesn't realize, but it's so eye-opening for us to hear the research from Kota Kita. So people in Jakarta, they are now very limiting their meals to certain kind of food based on the algorithm of the apps, sadly. So that's why this book is important. That's why this is important, because we are losing it. We are losing the knowledge, we are losing the stories, we are losing the food itself, the dish itself. That's why books, traditional books, or any cooking traditional books is important, because we are losing it.
Okay,
I hope that
silakan.
answers your question.
If I may add, that's why the foundation did lots of events, public events, especially for young people. We would like to popularize local food. For example, in one event, there were 30 young people from all over Indonesia. And I asked, what's your favorite local food from your area? And they said Kentucky Fried Chicken, McD, fried rice. I said, are you sure you don't know the local food in your area? They didn't. They didn't. That's why we did lots and lots of public outreach on this. But we have limited resources, so we couldn't do as many events as we would like to. That's why this Ubud Food Festival is very important. And I think we should suggest to Janet to invite more young people to this event.
Okay, next question. Silakan.
Good evening. My name is Iga Ramos. I'm from the Philippines. Flew all the way from Manila. So congratulations for the intervention that you're doing with gastronomy, with the gastronomy culture of Indonesia. My question is, what are the challenges that you encountered after you finished the competition? Because I'm also a publisher, gastronomy publisher in the Philippines. I just want to learn from you also that the different challenges that you encountered, let's say logistics, language difference, language barrier, because in the Philippines, we have the same problem. We have like 80 ethno-linguistic groups. And like in India, you have like so many languages, and even written languages so different. So aside from those obvious things, what are the cultural problems that you encountered? So I'm just like zeroing in. And then my follow-up question is, can I buy the book and today? Okay, so that's my question. I mean, anyone can answer. Challenges. Cultural challenges.
In publishing the book?
Well, in collating the recipes, communicating with people. Let's say, for instance, you have recipes from how do you kitchen test traditional cooking techniques into home cooking that is that can be replicated in the book so that people can actually cook it, not by using wood or bamboo or clay pots, but modern kitchen conveniences.
Yeah, May would be able to answer that, but I will try to respond to the challenges that we are facing. Of course, collecting articles, it's always difficult. You have to call the contributors several times. They said, we would like to write some articles, but then it will already take like 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, so I have to keep calling. That's why in this book, we have a coordinator of the food bloggers. Since they are food bloggers, I don't doubt the, not really authenticity, but that it's possible to create the meal from the recipes in the book. But another challenge that I face is publishing the book. We are a small foundation, so I always begin with e-books, and I invited contributors to write, and then I just leave it to the universe how it will go. I'll give you an example of the book before this. It's called Comfort Food Memoirs. It's an e-book, and then one contributor was the Vice Minister of Environment and Forestry in Indonesia. He likes to cook. He contributed 2 articles with recipes with beautiful pictures. And he asked me, Ibu Amanda, can you send me the book? Well, I said, we are very limited in resources, so it's only e-book. Well, okay. So he contacted a private company and showed the e-book. And this company said, well, we'll help you. We'll help you print the book, they said. And then he asked this company, how many will you print this book? And this company said, 500. No, you should print 1,000. So I had 1,000 books and I didn't know what to do with 1,000 books. So that's why I said sometimes I just leave it to the universe. And Dio from Dio Media, of course, helped because we have, like for example, we have print on demands like 100 books, and then some people will say, well, we'll help you. Or maybe they will buy the book. So that's how they do it. I'll give the book to you, but it's still in a dummy version. It's good enough, but there are some little things that we have to revise. And then we are also waiting for the ISBN, right? Yeah. Yeah. Library of Congress number, international standard book. Yes. Because it's credible if you have that ISBN number.
Oh, okay. Based on, I think this is based on our previous research. We got a grant actually from U.S. Embassy to do research. So basically we travel all over Indonesia for 2 years to collect recipes. But then we not only find recipes, but we find cultures, the connection with natures, women's issue, social issues, and so many. So food has really a lot of perspective. So I think the most difficult one, at least for Indonesia, is because our mothers or our grandmothers, we are not literate. So basically, they don't write down recipes. So it will be amazing if we can find old recipes written down by our mothers, because they simply cook together with the children. So when the children went to another cities or bigger cities to high school, better school, because better schools is in the cities. So this transform of knowledge is simply missed. So in that project, the assumption in the beginning is that we are losing recipes every day with the past of our mothers or grandmothers, because they don't write the recipes, the children has not yet learned, which is in the end we find it is something true when we travel. That's why we travel, exactly came into villages and kitchens and then write down. What's funny is we bring the
scale.
A scale, yeah, because they don't cook with measurement. So we force them to measure first before they cook, and they so annoyed, yeah, with us. So, but that's the best. I think that's one of the most difficult one. And some of them, they don't speak bahasa or yeah. So we have a local videographer who became later on became the translator. So language is a barrier. Definitely, we don't have enough information. There's food ingredients that is not in Google, and is no longer in the nature. Some of them will tell story. Before we use this ingredient to put sour in our, for example, like arsik in Lake Toba, what we understand now is we put lime as a sour, but they said no. Previously there was this seaweed or wheat in the lake.
In the lake.
So we squeeze it and it gives you sour flavor, but it no longer exists.
It's extinct.
So no longer existing.
Okay.
So we try to Google, there's no information at all. So we don't know, we just heard the story, but we don't know what it is, what is the name, how it looks. So it's just gone, it's just simply gone. So yeah, it is so difficult to find. And then of course, publishing is another issue. Again, like Ibu Amanda said, we are simple, humble foundation. We don't have enough resources to print 1,000 or so many. So yeah, that's also an issue.
Okay, before we move to another questions, I want to ask Hari about, since you are talking about how we did the research and all the writings, all the challenges as well. So Hari, is it hard for you to learn Indonesian dish throughout Indonesian books? Is it enough for you, or it's hard for you to find it?
It is definitely very hard. Like even like with Indian recipes, my mom's recipes is just like I sometimes call her and go like, Mom, how do you make your rice pudding? She says, you have to get a bowl of rice and 2 liters of milk. All right, what is the bowl of rice? How big is the bowl of rice? You know? So it was just like, so end up, and it was funny, that was first time I moved to Australia and then I wanted to really make my mom's rice pudding. I end up using like big bowl of rice and I thought it should be equal amount. But it just became like a risotto. You know, even worse, like it was dry and we had to actually run and buy more milk. So we end up using 6 liters of milk and at the end we just end up throwing it. And then I wanted to make my mom's roti and then I was like, how do you make your dough? So she's like, oh, you get this much flour and you make a soft dough. Right?
Okay.
What do you mean by soft dough? Soft dough, your soft dough would be different than my soft dough. Like, it's like, you have to just like, touch it with finger, it should be soft. I'm like,
Okay.
And then and everything is in Indo as well. Like when I ask my mother-in-law,
Okay.
how do you do this? It's exactly same way. It's just like, oh, you just do this much. You use 1 onion and then you put that much ketchup mayonnaise. I'm like, that doesn't make sense. Like it would, as a chef, because we are like, you said, you had to take a scale. So when I went to India, like first time after I got to Australia, and I actually took cup measurements, and then I measured everything. I was like, Mom, how do you make a rice pudding? So I was like, oh, this is the bowl. Oh, that's a tiny bowl. I actually used a big bowl. So and I measure things, and I would write it and stuff. So I still find it very hard, even with language. So I traveled quite a bit of South India, and it was just so hard to talk to people. Like, how do you do this? How, you're having a street food and you really love something and you go like, how do you make it? They just don't understand. All you do is like, can I have one? Like one, but then when you want to ask more about the dish and how they made it, it's just impossible because the language is different. There's language barrier. So yeah, it's a challenge in our, especially Indonesia and especially in Asia because the languages are so different. There's like language in a language, and then there's different language, there's different dialogues,
Yep.
So, yeah, that's always a challenge. But you know what? I think you're doing amazing job writing it, and I'm trying to note all the recipes my mom made. So I think young people have to start doing it as well.
Okay. Do we still have time? There's any other session after this? 4 minutes. Oh my God. Okay, one last question.
Ya, saya pakai bahasa Indonesia aja ya, karena pertanyaannya untuk Ibu Amanda dan Bapak. Saya Vio, tinggal di Tabanan. Saat ini saya menjalankan Yayasan Pelindungan Satwa, tapi juga banyak bicara tentang pangan lokal yang berbasis nabati. Makasih buat spill bukunya juga cerita dari Mbak Kani ya yang membawa memori ya tentang bagaimana perjalanan atau cerita saat makan siang, karena saya jadi teringat lagi dulu saya juga sering dapat makan siang yang spesial atau kadang request ya sama ibu saya mau makan apa, dan pada saat itu saya ingat betul saya selalu minta sayur. Nah, sekarang ini kan sangat stigma anak-anak muda sekarang terutama ya, makan sehat itu harus selalu dikasih, harus selalu ada daging. Sedangkan saya ingat betul dulu gado-gado itu, tahu tempe itu juga jadi makanan yang cukup umum disediakan di meja makan. Tapi sekarang stigmanya selalu kalau makan tahu atau tempe atau kita ketika bertamu selalu dianggap atau selalu ada kata maaf ya cuma ada tahu tempe, seakan-akan tahu tempe atau makanan nabati itu makanan yang tidak bernutrisi atau makanan murah atau yang disediakan sama masyarakat miskin gitu. Nah, yang ingin saya tahu mungkin bisa cerita sedikit apakah dari yang banyak dituliskan di buku Ibu ini banyak yang mengupas tentang tradisi makan siang yang diceritakan oleh banyak kontributor ya yang menceritakan tentang makanan-makanan nabati juga. Kalau kita lihat lagi program makanan bergizi itu kan seharusnya berkaca dari program Kemenkes ya. Kalau sekarang kan sudah nggak ada tuh 4 sehat 5 sempurna ya. Tapi isi piringku yang mana komposisi nabati itu jauh lebih banyak. Tapi itu masih banyak nggak dikenal. Sedangkan sebetulnya makanan nabati itu juga banyak yang sehat loh bisa dikonsumsi. Nah mungkin boleh cerita sedikit dan bagaimana ya cara merubah stigma. Mungkin ada saran terutama ke anak-anak muda atau ibu-ibu sekarang ya untuk melihat, untuk bisa menyadarkan bahwa makanan nabati juga bagus untuk dikonsumsi, bukan hanya pangan-pangan hewani aja, yang mana dulu kan biasanya disediakan ketika special occasion aja ya, atau hari raya seperti itu. Terima kasih.
So the question is, are there any dish does not include meat that exists in this book?
Yeah. It's not all about traditional food, but the title is Indonesia's Lunch Traditions. And what the contributors wrote are mostly about their childhood food. So they didn't talk about steak, 1 kilogram of steak for a family, for example. It's just a very simple menu. And then when you ask how could we, for example, increase the awareness to young people about this issue, what this foundation did in collaboration with other organizations is we made what we call a food camp. So for about 2 days, sometimes online and sometimes offline, we explain why consuming local food is very important for the environment. And we also have a local food menu. And we ask the participants from all over Indonesia to bring recipes or to bring snacks from their area. So that's how to increase awareness. You just have to do lots of events, lots of program, education, public awareness, training. So that's how we did.
Okay, since we ran out of our time, now before we close the session, we want to launch the book. So, do we have the drum roll? Okay, so semua for all the speakers.
So this is a book launch, simple book launch. So if everybody could hold the book and put it up, and if you would like to have the book, you can contact Diomedia. It's in his Instagram.
Okay, thank you. So that's for the session today about the lunch. So there are several things that we could take for here. Like in my notes, there are several things that I take. It says that one thing that the speaker scared the most, that all this dish will be extinct within 20 years or 25 years in the future. And then the other one is there's one question that asks us that it's hard to get good local Indonesian food. And then actually this is the answers of that. So thank you everyone for joining the session, and then thank you for all the speakers. Ibu, Bapak, Pak Uri, Bu Amanda. Okay.